Yesterday, I made quite a spontaneous purchase, and by spontaneous, I mean it involves another classic car, and right now I'm on my way to show you exactly what we bought. So here it is, a 1992 Rover Mini Cooper, one owner from new, 25,000 genuine miles, and it has barely been touched. I don't know if you want to call it a barn find or a garage find, but it's certainly a garage find. Someone said, my nan's got this car that needs to go, and I went to look at it and I couldn't help but put my money where my mouth was. It needs work, don't get me wrong. There's areas around here, there's areas here, there's mess here, there and everywhere, but the point I'm making with this car is it's a 100% genuine Cooper, everything's with it, and it literally looks like it's been sat and forgotten about. We know it's not been on the road for at least 5 years, but, and I say but, listen to this. You'll be pretty gobsmacked at this, just 1 second. Battery's flat. Oh my! Come on. So as you can see, my height is quite compromised. I am 6'3", and driving a Mini has always been a challenge. But I can't really say much more than how excited I am to have this in my possession. Never owned a Cooper, I've always wanted a Cooper, albeit it's not the really trick one with all the flared arches on it, but it is certainly intact. I mean, 25,000 miles from new, and it's got service history to prove it. And the best thing is, just pan the camera to the right and listen to this. Come on, how? It does drive, but the clutch, obviously, the clutch slave cylinder, the rubbers have perished, it's lost quite a bit of clutch fluid. It wants topping up and bleeding through and potentially changing, but I have had it into gear because I drove it up this driveway. But let's just take a look at the rust areas. So as you can see, this wing potentially wants fully replacing, and the A panel has gone here as well. It looks like it's come from underneath, so it's probably just been attacked with stones because there was never any plastic arch covers, and the scuttle here has got a little bit of rust on it, but I reckon it's salvageable. The underneath, it seems to have had the flitch panels repaired slightly in the past, just at the bottom, and this part of the sill that's been repaired. But to do it properly, I think it needs sills, a wing, A panels, and potentially a front panel. But other than that, it's a complete Cooper. I mean, just take a look at the interior for one. Just have a look in there. It's never been sat in. It's everything is just genuine. And you can see the boot's fully intact as well. In my opinion, that is a clean boot for a 92 Cooper that's been sat for numerous amounts of years. It runs like a dream. The battery was flat when we went. I put the trickle charger on it and it started first time. I couldn't believe it. But it's just, there's no rust in like the usual areas. It's an epic find, if you ask me. I mean, the engine bay for one, a car that's 28 years old, everything's there. There's no connector blocks in the wiring loom like you normally see, where people have thought, do you know what, I'll put my own stereo system in it. It's still got the 6x9 speakers at the back. One question I do want to ask is, and if you just back up a moment, so the aerials on these, is it a pull-out system like this, or is it electric? I seem to remember it being electric. The stereo's lit up and it's come with a free cassette. It might be worth seeing if we can get that to play. Maybe pull the aerial out, that might work. Shouldn't need it for a cassette though, obviously. It just shows how out of touch I am with my times. I can't turn the engine off because the battery will die and nothing will work. But I'm very intrigued to see whether the stereo works in this car, because I've never had a Mini where it works. And it's all here, it's lit up, and I'm just going to turn the volume button, so... Yes! It works. Can you hear that? No way. Oh, this car just is full of surprises. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, Tom, what are you going to do with this car? Where are you even going to restore it? Now, it comes to a point where I'm in two minds. I don't know whether to rent a cheap lockup and throw this in a lockup for a number of years and just, when I get round to it, restore it, because it is far too good to break and just split up into bits. Or I don't know whether to just sell it to someone that's going to have the time to do it, or potentially pay someone to do it. There's two issues with that. At the minute, I'm doing the Clubman Estate, which you know about. I've also got the red one, and there's not a lot of room, and it's also the Clubman Estate is quite a money drain, and I'm not going to have the money to throw into this. So part of me thinks, should I let it go? Now, if someone's watching this video and they genuinely really want it and they feel they can come up with a good reason of why they should have it and restore it and can come up with a good price, then I'm more than happy to let it go. But the more I look at it, the more I become attached to it. It's just so genuine, which is so difficult to come by now. It's still got all the original stickers on the front panel, the asbestos stickers. It's never been touched, and that's the thing, and I've never owned an SPI, and it does feel a lot quicker than my 998. So it's a tough one, but if you ask me, I think this is what an ultimate find. Don't get me wrong, it's shabby. I'm not trying to make out that it's the mintest Mini I've ever found in my life, because it really isn't. It needs work, but with the right work and the right amount of money spent on it, it's easily a desirable car. I couldn't believe how it had not been messed with, because 9 times out of 10 when you find Coopers, they've had the spotlights took off, or they've had silly stripes put on the bonnet, or they've had big daft flared arches. This was bought 28 years ago by an old lady for £7,300 from Lockwood and Greenwood in Audenshaw. It still has all the stickers in the windows that say it was from Lockwood and Greenwood, and it's even got service history from Lockwood and Greenwood as well to prove that the mileage is genuine. In 1 year of driving the car, she did 400 miles within 1 year. So if that doesn't tell you that this mileage is genuine, 25,000 one owner, I don't know what does. I have signed for the car in a trader's name, so it's not put another owner on it just yet. Obviously, if I decide to keep it, then I'll transfer it to myself. But if it decides to go, it will still come as one owner until you sign the logbook, or unless you sign it in the trader's name also. But get in the comments, tell me what you think of this. I never ever thought I'd be buying another Mini at Christmas. I think I'm up to 4 now. I've owned 4 Minis, still in the possession of 2, but I think it's a Mini thing. You'll always own them, you will always want them in your life, and they are great cars. With all that said, guys, please do get in the comments, let me know what you think. Drop this video a like. It's a quick one, like I say, just to give you a quick insight of what's in the possession at the moment. And if I don't see you soon or this side of New Year's Eve, have a great New Year. I wish you all the best, and make sure you do everything in style. Goodbye.